Hi everyone, it's Elliot here. I hope you're all having a great day so far. Currently where I am, it's a bit miserable. It's very cold and rainy. That's typical of Manchester, England. So to lift the mood, I'm going to do a video on something that has been requested of me a lot by you guys on my Twitter and Facebook pages. And that is to talk more about my film collection here in the back and my Blu-ray buying habits overall, because on this channel so far, I've only really talked about latest cinema releases and a few top 5 videos here and there. So I'm going to start doing more and more videos on my Blu-ray collection. So I hope you guys will really enjoy these videos. So to kick off these videos on my collection, I figured what better way to start than show off what I've just bought. And this comes at a really good time because a few days ago, I picked up a load of Criterion collection Blu-rays, 16 of them in fact, and I'll try and show you them all now in one frame just so you get an image of what I've bought. There you go. Hopefully these don't all fall on me here. But yeah, I'm going to run through all of these, tell you about the ones that I've seen and the ones I've not seen, and just why they're worth picking up now, especially because here in the UK, they've been a bit expensive for a while and they've just gone down in price, so it is the perfect time to pick all of these up. These are actually the first Criterion Collection Blu-rays I've ever owned because I never imported any from America and they only launched here in the UK earlier this year. And like I said, since they launched, the prices have been quite high. They were retailing for about £18 each, and at one point they even went up to £24 each. But it's only in this last week that at a few different shops here and on Amazon, you can pick them up now for 2 for £25, so they work out at £12.50 each, which is a perfect price for me, especially because of the special features and the overall presentation you get on these Criterion discs. And for those of you that don't know what the Criterion Collection is, it's a collection that's been curated by Criterion for about 30 years now. And what they do is they gather the most important films to the art form as well as cult classics, and they always aim to present them in the best possible way that they can. And the discs are always just beautiful. Well, from what I heard anyway, but now I realise that is the case because some of these Blu-rays that I've watched since buying them are some of the most important Blu-rays that I own. Like, I will treasure these for a long time to come. To kick it all off, the first film of these that I watched was In a Lonely Place, directed by Nicholas Ray, starring Humphrey Bogart and Gloria Graham. And it's a film noir from 1950, and it's a very interesting one because it doesn't really follow traditional tropes of the film noir type of filmmaking. What it does is it flicks between those usual things we come to expect from film noir and sort of the melodramatic storytelling of a director such as Douglas Sirk. It's a great film in and of itself, and it's one I'd highly recommend to anyone that likes film noir. And 1950 was a really competitive year because that was the year that Sunset Boulevard came out and All About Eve. And I feel like this film probably is overshadowed by the really big films such as those. So yeah, definitely seek this one out if you're looking at buying some of these UK Criterion Blu-rays. And as with all of these Criterions, it's got tons of special features. It's got an audio commentary, it's got a documentary on Nicholas Ray himself, and it's got interviews and yeah, just loads of special features. It's got an essay by a critic, Imogen Smith. So yeah, definitely worth getting. The second of these Criterions that I watched was L'Avventura, directed by Michelangelo Antonioni. And it's from 1960 and it's very much of the genre, I guess it's a genre, of neo-realist films that came out of Italy in the 60s from directors like Antonioni, Fellini and Vittorio De Sica. And this film is definitely a challenging watch because it flips storytelling on its head. For the first 30 minutes of this film, we follow this girl who is definitely set up as the protagonist of the film, and it's all about her relationships with her friends and her partner as they go on a trip to this coastal Italian island. But after these first 30 minutes, she just disappears, but after that, it doesn't turn into a whodunit, a what's happened to her. It just kind of, the story ends there and a new story begins as we follow her friends and her partner. I'm probably not selling it well. It's definitely one worth seeing though. And again, a great disc with tons of special features and I wholly recommend this film. The third of these Criterions that I watched was Tootsie, directed by Sidney Pollack, starring Dustin Hoffman, and this is a joyous, fun film from the 80s, and it follows Dustin Hoffman as he plays an eccentric actor who is struggling to find work, but then he decides to dress up as a middle-aged woman, and it's when he does that he finds he gets a lot of work on a soap opera TV show. But of course that wouldn't really be a story in and of itself unless he fell in love with a young girl who also worked on this soap opera TV show, and that is what happens, and it's all about him manoeuvring around this and pretending to be this middle-aged woman, but he is also madly in love with this girl, and just how he interacts with her through this costume, this disguise. Again, it's a great disc with tons of special features, and it's one that I recommend to everyone. And it was after watching this that I started to realise in my head that Criterion Collection is a seal of approval. They don't put out bad films, and the films that they do put out, they treat with care, and they want to present the films in the best way that they can. The next day after watching Tootsie, I did a double bill of these Criterions, and the first one I watched was Easy Rider, directed by Dennis Hopper from 1969, and for those that don't know, this is a bit of a cult classic. It's a film that exudes counterculture, and it's just famous for how it showed off America. It's a film that so desperately tries to not be mainstream, and it achieves that as we follow these two bike riders that travel across America doing drugs and just meeting people, and it's just got great performances from Dennis Hopper, Peter Fonda, and a very young Jack Nicholson. So this is one I wholly recommend, and again, great features, definitely get this one. The second film I watched in my double bill with Easy Rider was Here Comes Mr. Jordan, and this is a film that isn't really related to Easy Rider whatsoever, but it's a great film nonetheless. It's a light-hearted comedy from 1941, and it's about a young man who is killed before his time, and he goes to heaven, and he realises that the people in heaven, the bureaucracy in heaven, have made a mistake, and they've killed him 30 years before he should have died. So all they can do for him is they can put him back on Earth, but in someone else's body. What happens is he gets put in the body of this corrupt financial guy, and it's all about him manoeuvring about this new life and trying to be himself, but also trying to be someone different. And it's just a great watch. Definitely one worth getting. I wholly recommend this film as well. The last of these Criterions that I've watched so far is Day for Night, directed by Francois Truffaut. And for those that know Truffaut, he is a master of cinema. And this film exemplifies that more than any of his films, I think. And that's because the actual story of the film is about the making of a film. And Truffaut himself plays the director in the film. And it's a joyous film again. It's about love and relationships and how people interact with other people. And it's something that I think everyone can relate to as well. There's tons of special features on here as usual. And again, definitely a Criterion that you should pick up. So I've got 10 more Criterion discs here, but like I said, I've not seen these yet. So I am going to run through these very quickly just to show you what I'm going to be watching very soon. And the first one I've got is Burrows, which is a documentary about William Burrows. And he's a man that I don't really know much about, so I'm excited to go into this one. And next up, I've got Overlord, which is directed by Stuart Cooper. And it's shot by the cinematographer that worked a lot with Stanley Kubrick, so I'm very excited to watch this one as well. Next, I've got Grey Gardens, and this is another documentary that I really want to watch because I've heard a lot about this. I've heard many people tell me it's such a classic documentary, so yeah, excited for this one as well. As you can tell, I'm excited for most of these. And yeah, this one, Gilda, with Rita Hayworth, directed by Charles Vidor. I've heard tons about this. It's a 40s film that I wanted to watch for ages, but it hasn't been available in the UK before Criterion brought it here. So yeah, can't wait to watch this. Next up, Cat People by Jacques Tourneur. And this is a film from the 40s, a horror film, and it's quite short for a feature-length film. It's only 70 minutes. And I actually really wanted to pick this up around Halloween, but again, it was out of my price budget. But yeah, glad to have this one now. Next up, we've got The In-Laws, and yeah, this is another one with Alan Arkin and Peter Falk, and I can't wait to watch this as well. It's apparently really funny. So yeah, very looking forward to that one. Now this is one I've really wanted to watch for ages. It's It Happened One Night, directed by Frank Capra, who made It's a Wonderful Life, probably the best Christmas film ever. And yeah, it's got Clark Gable, who I love, and yeah, can't wait to watch this as well. I can't wait to watch all of these, as you can probably tell. Next up, I've got Roman Polanski's Tragedy of Macbeth. And I know a lot of people are sour on Polanski because of who he is as a person, and I don't blame them, but I really admire his filmmaking. I love Rosemary's Baby and Chinatown. So yeah, Macbeth, really excited to see. Here I've got Only Angels Have Wings, directed by Howard Hawks. And I love Howard Hawks as a filmmaker. And this has Cary Grant in, who, you know, he's a great actor. And yeah, can't wait to watch this. And last up, I've got Speedy, which is a silent comedy starring Harold Lloyd. And even though I've only seen about 20 silent films, I'm starting to appreciate that type of filmmaking more and more because of, you know, the limitations they faced and just what they got out of the art form at the time with those limitations. So yeah, really looking forward to watching Speedy as well. Okay, that's it. That's my Criterion Collection Blu-ray haul. And I'll just very quickly show you them all again in one go. This is how many I got. Yes, I am crazy. But like I said, they're all great Blu-rays, great releases. And to be honest, I'm falling in love with Criterion as a company. I can't wait to pick up more Criterion Blu-rays. And I think I'm especially going to look at importing some from America that you can't get here, because I just want to get more and more of these discs. I think I'm getting a bit fiendish about them, to be honest. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below and like the video and all that, because it really does help me know what you guys are enjoying from me and what you're not enjoying. And I hope to do a lot more of these Blu-ray videos in the future. I'm definitely going to do more of these haul videos where I show off what I've recently bought. But I also want to start delving into what I've actually already bought and showing off the films that are most important to me and my most prized possessions in the collection, because, you know, like I said, I've got over 1,000 films on Blu-ray and I have a lot to show off. So yeah, greatly looking forward to all of that. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be back very soon with more film reviews and now more videos on my Blu-ray collection. So until then, goodbye everyone.